Boo! Yes, it's the final week of October, which means we have the World Series, college football, the NFL, NHL action, the NBA, UFC, soccer, and let's not forget about that college basketball right around the corner. Since we're almost obliged to have a Halloween commercial, let's make it a scary good one. Until midnight on October 31st, no costume is required to get a 31% discount on one all-access package of your choice at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo using coupon code BOO31 at checkout. This coupon will save you over $12 on a one-day all-access that includes any 5% plays. And it'll also save you over $18 off the 3-day all-access. Or why not go big and save over $90 off the 30-day all-access? Or perhaps take over business for the next year by saving over $600 with the 12-month all-access package. Coming out to just $3.77 per day for the next 365 days. Coupon code BOO31 expires at midnight on Halloween. But remember to use it wisely, as this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo. From my friend and I, happy Halloween.
Hey guys, welcome in on a very happy Monday to you. It is time for the NBA Tip-Off Show powered by WagerTalk.com as we begin week number 3 here in the NBA season. Fun weekend. Certainly hope it was a profitable one for you here across the sports betting landscape. But we got a few games here tonight we're going to take a look at, throw out some best bets, see if we can't start the week off on a profitable foot. And we're going to do it, of course, with 3 of the best over at WagerTalk.com as the prop god back in saddle number 1, Andy Lang, ready to roll here tonight, as is Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L, and Mr. Rob Vino, part-time weatherman, full-time NBA handicapper. It is what it is. Rob's in the Philly area, so we're trying to figure out, A, is this game going to get played tonight, and B, will Embiid ever show up and actually play, and will we ever find out before tip-off? But Andy, happy $9 Monday to you, man. Best bets, $9 over at WagerTalk.com, which means you got something for $9 going on over there, Andy. What do you got tonight for us?
We got 2 really good props for tonight. We're starting off the season really good, 17-10. So we've been seeing the sport really well. I would say we're running best in NBA of all the sports that we're doing right now. So coming off a 2-0 night last night, so got a 4% and a 3% up. Looking forward to a really good night of NBA. I like these games tonight. I like this slate. A lot of really, really good guys. We got a lot more numbers that we can look at now. So researching these props, there's a lot less kind of guesswork. We're seeing a lot of trends. So bets are going well. Looking forward to tonight.
Can't wait to hear Andy's breakdown about Indiana coming up here. Talk to me here, Merrill. What is going on, man, on this $9 Monday? What do you got locked and loaded over at WagerTalk.com?
Happy Halloween, Joe Raineri. I love the mask. It is spooky. And Andy Lang looking great as always. And, of course, Rob Vino is on with us. And he's going to be playing a weatherman for Halloween. He's going to have to sneak out fast after the show to get the trick-or-treating in because the rain is coming at 7 p.m. Eastern in the Philly area. So those of you playing the baseball game, be alert. Shout out to Tony Finn. I know he's watching. This is your day, my man. Enjoy. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, last chance. Oh, boo. Boo. Boo 31. Expires at midnight. And it is, all seriousness, a fantastic offer. If you haven't used the code yet, not too late. 31% off any all-access package, including a 1-year. You're going to save $700 off the bat with that promo code if you do a 1-year. That's the way to go. Highly recommend. Take advantage of it right now. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Awesome stuff. Yes, happy Halloween. In fact, trick or treat, Rob Vino. I know you got a few treats in that bag of yours here tonight for us. So what are you looking at here? What's going on?
Did I ever tell you the one about when I used to live across the street from the NBC weatherman in Las Vegas?
No.
And he used to run around our development late at night naked. It was really strange before he got arrested finally.
Oh,
I'll save the whole story for another time, but that is true. It's very good to have Steve Merrill here to upstage my $9 Monday promos as usual. Couldn't we wait to put Steve on until Tuesday so we could at least get a sale or two out of this day? $9 Monday up and loaded, guys. NBA basketball up there. College football one up there as well, as along with the World Series. And, of course, the weather being the biggest thing we're concerned about right now with the World Series game. But you can get it all right over there at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, that's the way to do it here, guys. Opportunity to make it a very profitable start to the week. And, of course, the final day of October, no reason not to increase those bankrolls, and we are going to start, and there it is right away. We do want to let you know, it wasn't just Steve Merrill's code. Actually, for everybody, not just you, Merrill. It includes Vino, too. Boo31, as well as Andy Lang. That is 31% off all packages across the board for all the handicappers. Your favorite handicapper, get 31% off any of their packages. Hurry up, though. 11:59 tonight. That goes away. Take advantage of it as we look to take advantage of the contrarian gods here tonight. That's right. The gods looked at this board, and they're trying to figure out, well, is there a game that maybe the public is over betting and maybe the line is moving the wrong way, and they think the Charlotte Hornets should be considered as the contrarian play of the game. It appears that the contrarian gods have no idea what the fascination and the market love is for the Sacramento freaking Kings. But hey, I'm just a messenger. So let's see what these guys have to say. Andy, Charlotte at home, they're still not going to have the usual guys. I mean, they haven't really had them at all. But I believe, right? No LaMelo Ball, no Terry Rozier, no Cody Martin. So nothing's really changed with this team. What do you think about this matchup? Is there anybody you're focusing in on here with the Hornets and Kings tonight?
Well, I think a team that has one win is an odd choice for the public to be all over. I don't know. It's just me. A couple things about this game. I mean, this is the third and fourth fastest paced teams in the NBA. So you're probably looking at some points. I think the total might be in play, but I'm with the contrarian gods here. Give me Charlotte and the points. A couple of props to look at here. A guy I haven't really talked about a whole lot, but boy, he's on my radar now. Keegan Murray just is looking great. I'll take him over 16.5 points. He's let me pull it up here. Gone over in 3 out of 4 games. The only game he didn't go over was against Golden State, where he had 16 points. So he just missed it by the hook. And Charlotte just gives up 115.8 points a game. They give up 23 points a game to these small forwards. This is a good spot for them. The books have kind of held this number pretty steady around this 15.5, 16.5. So you got a little bit of a window here before they maybe adjust. If he has a few more games where he's going over, the books are going to move this up to 17.5, 18.5 points. So I jump on him. I'm also going to look at my former Indiana Pacer, Domantas Sabonis, but I'm going under here. They got this line too high at 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's only gone over this total once this season. I was against Golden State, who is the worst team in the league by far, defending centers and power forwards. He's gone under against the Trailblazers, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, the Heat. He's gotten in foul trouble in several games, so his minutes are inconsistent. If he gets in foul trouble, he's played as few as 22 minutes in a game, and he's only averaging 9 shot attempts a game so far this year. So he's not the big focal point of this offense. It's pretty clear that De'Aaron Fox is. So 34.5 just seems way too high. Charlotte isn't great against centers, but they're certainly better against centers than Golden State. And again, that was the only team that Sabonis has gone over against. I don't understand why this number is so high, but I'll take advantage of it and take Sabonis under 34.5 PRA.
Oh, love it. All right, going under with the PRA and Sabonis there. Merrill, what do you think here? Seems to get, and he's right, a lot of love for a one-win Sacramento Kings team here on the road. What do you think here with the contrarian gods?
Yeah, and this is some sharp money. I'm looking at some of the sharper international books, and they're not only -3 now, but minus 115 in some locations. So we might even see a 3.5 out there by tip-off, which is pretty crazy. So you might want to lock in Sacramento at -3 or less now. If you do want to take the contrarian side of here with the Hornets, I don't think there's any hurry. You might actually get a 3.5 by tip-off here at 7 Eastern tonight. Sacramento, along with the Lakers, and I believe it was Orlando, the only 3 winless teams like 3-4 nights ago on Thursday when I was looking at it last. But the Kings had covered a couple games, so they were making money still. But what is strange about this line, as Andy kind of hinted at, is that Charlotte's not having a bad season. I mean, this is a team that's overall 3-3, but they're 4-2 against the number. So they have been making money for people. I think actually Sacramento is a sneaky play in this game. And normally I'm not looking to lay points on the road in the NBA with a team that's 1-4, 20% win percentage. But it is early in the season. I don't want to overreact too much to the first week. And I think Sacramento's got some upside. The defense has been the problem so far this season, to say the least. 119 points a game, 130 in their one road game that they played. This is only the second game on the road, and that, of course, was against Golden State, as Andy was talking about. So step down in class here for their second road game. And really, if you look at their schedule overall, it's a pretty substantial step down in class. Portland, Clippers, Warriors, Grizzlies, and Heat. 5 playoff caliber teams. So I think there's actually some value here with Sacramento. And I would dare on Halloween to fade the contrarian gods tonight and take the Kings -3.
What do you think here, Vino? That usually ends in total disaster. But what do you think? Are you in agreement with the whole world betting the Kings, or you think Charlotte's worth a look here?
If I fade the contrarian gods, since Steve went first, can I hide behind him when they strike later
Yes,
on?
that's correct. Absolutely. First one in. Yep.
I might take cover then. And, Joe, it lines up to me as points. Obviously, 231.5 or 231, whatever the number is now, would suggest that it's going to be a high-scoring game. But a couple of things here. For Charlotte, scheduling isn't in their favor, right? It's their third game in 4 nights. However, you could counter that. And friend of the show, colleague of ours, Jay Money, did counter that by saying it's a cross-country flight for Sacramento, which generally isn't paid attention to in the NBA as much as it might be in other sports, namely football. So you got a team coming cross-country against a team that's playing their third in 4 nights. Maybe the schedule evens itself out. Charlotte has surprised me with how much they've scored. Joe, you mentioned the pieces that they've been missing, and they're big parts of their offense. However, 120 or more points scored in 4 of their 6 games. Sacramento's going to come at them with the 27th ranked 3-point defense. Charlotte shoots the 3-point ball 10th best in the league. So good matchup there for the Hornets. However, their defense, as I think Andy mentioned, nothing to write home about. Their 2-point defense, their 3-point defense is number 1 in the league, but their 2-point defense 25th. So, Keegan Murray and company probably get some insight here. Maybe that's why the Sabonis prop is where it is, because Charlotte's been bad against 2-point shots this year. I would say this. I don't think that Charlotte can get 31 points out of P.J. Washington the way they did the other night when they beat Golden State. He hadn't scored but 17 all season long. And really, the shooting for Sacramento has been tremendous. I mean, Kevin Huerter's shooting 54% from three-point land. So when I add all this up, it seems to me like you've got too much offense for too little defense. Sacramento probably gets off the plane all charged up for their first road game on this road trip. I would think over in some capacity, and I'd be more inclined to play full game over. If this is close late, we might see a bunch of free throws. So I'll try over 231.5, but where the contrarian gods are concerned, wow. You know what? I'm going to buck them. I'll hide behind Steve and say Sacramento -3.
You got a point. Jay Money's got a point. There is nothing worse than, being stuck on, like, Oprah's G650 and flying cross-country in, 45 minutes. It's absolutely brutal. It really is. These poor bastards. Unbelievable. They would force them to do that across the country. All right, guys, the contrarian play of the day. Charlotte +3 is where the gods are looking. But, Andy agrees. But Steve, basically get ready. You're going to be covering for Vino as well tomorrow. Let's talk about a featured game here tonight. One in which looking forward to this one too. Atlanta taking on Toronto, north of the border here. Threes, I think, fours in the marketplaces, somewhere in that ballpark, with a 223 as a total. 7:40 Eastern time tip here. Well, let's see here. Toronto, certainly long enough, athletic enough, lengthy enough to cause all sorts of problems for this Atlanta Hawks team. But again, they got to get it done, right? Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, so far so good in Atlanta. Andy, is there anybody or those two guys you might be keying in on in this matchup?
Well, Toronto is one of the most confusing teams to try and play props on. Here's a really good example. Of all of the points props for the Toronto Raptors that the books have posted tonight, only one Raptor has hit his over points prop in over 50% of the games, and it is Chris Buescher. Everybody else for the Raptors is under 50%. So if you're trying to take an over, guys like Pascal Siakam and Van Vliet, it's a heart throw. So I find this team very, very hard to try and handicap from a points perspective, which is okay because when the Raptors play, I just try not to look at their props. I don't find much value in it. I will say that for Atlanta, I'm going to go Trae Young under his PRA tonight. They've got it set at 41.5 or 42.5. And, Young has gone over this total 5 games in a row. His last 2 games, he soared over. I look at this as I think he's due for an under, and this is certainly the defense to do it. Toronto's allowing only 17.7 rebounds and 8 assists a game to opposing point guards, and this is with Maxey going off against them. I like that DeJounte Murray has been scoring a bit more the last 2 games. His last 2 games, he scored 21 and 26. Those are his best 2 scoring totals of the year for Atlanta. So, Trae Young is on a 5-game stretch of going over, but we saw a couple of guys who started off the year like gangbusters going over their point totals. They're going to hit an under at some point. I think this is a tough matchup for Trae Young, and if Toronto wants to take Murray or Young out of the game, I think they put their attention on Trae Young and make DeJounte do it. So I'm going to go a little bit contrarian myself here and take Trae Young under my PRA, but staying away from the Raptors until I get something a little bit more solid and a little bit more consistent.
All right, good stuff there. Merrill, they're not a great three-point shooting team, Atlanta, by any stretch, hitting 35% right now. They also take 40% of their shots from mid-range, and I don't know, against these long and lengthy athletic wing players that Toronto's got, this could be a rough night shooting here for Atlanta. What do you think?
Yeah, if you look at Toronto's D this year, Joe, though, they've actually been a little weaker when you factor in opponents played from 2-point range. So it might actually work out well for Atlanta. And the Hawks are shooting 35.5%, but their opponents played it allowed 34.5%. So they've actually faced some tougher 3-point defenses so far after 6 games. Really weird schedule for Toronto to start the season. You guys see it on the screen there. I mean, they back-to-backs at Miami, then back-to-backs home against the Sixers. Now they get Atlanta. It's kind of like semi-playoffs already. Could they be a little flat after those big games against the Heat and the Sixers? Perhaps. I'm not sure Atlanta's necessarily a letdown spot, as the Hawks are one of the better teams in the conference. One of the big knocks on Atlanta over recent years, at least, is they were much better at home than on the road. But they are 2-1 straight up on the road. Of course, those 2 wins came at Detroit. They lost at Milwaukee. So they are coming in here off a loss with a day off. I think the situation and the matchup actually favors Atlanta. And another kind of abnormality here early in the season, just 6 games in, is that the Hawks are shooting 82.5% from the free throw line. The Raptors are shooting just 72%. League average is around 76, 77% probably for the season. So is that an aberration, or is Toronto going to continue to struggle from the line? Those big, lanky guys, as you mentioned, sometimes don't shoot free throws well. And in the tight game, that could be the difference here. So I'm going to lean towards Atlanta +3. Wouldn't be surprised to see them win it outright.
All right, leaning towards Atlanta here. What are you thinking, Rob, Vino? Are the Hawks being undervalued here?
Well, you know what? Earlier, Joe, when the injury report came out and Fred VanVleet's name was on there, and it remains on there, I think. We'll see what the 4:30 report brings. I haven't seen it yet. But with him on it, it was real tough to handicap this game. But, sometimes when you see names on injury lists, the first thing you should go do is go see if the guy has any props listed And every single prop for Fred VanVleet is listed. So nobody's going to put those numbers up if the guy's not playing. So I'm going to assume that he's in this game, and that helps because as has what's been mentioned here, Trae Young's been on a heater last 3 games. In fact, I could give you numbers. Trae Young's put up 113 points in his last 3 games. The problem for Atlanta is that the opposing point guard has scored 32 a game against him. So while Trae's getting his, the opponent is getting his. VanVleet probably good enough defensively to push, Trae Young back a little further. You can never stop the guy, but maybe he can be a little bit of a deterrent in this game. The other side of that coin, I think, has been discussed here. The interior of Toronto, and maybe you said it, Joe, the interior of Toronto is very, very difficult to penetrate here. And I just don't know that Atlanta has the guys. They're really a top-heavy team, backcourt based. John Collins has been non-existent at forward here. It's been all Murray and Young, and everybody else watch us play. And if that's the way they're going to play Toronto, I don't think that works. I thought the line was short at 3 early if VanVleet was going to be in the game. I kind of believe that now. They played Philly very, very tough. 1 game with Embiid, 1 game without. And it's strange. They won the game with Embiid in the lineup, and they lost the game without Embiid in the lineup, which probably goes to what we know about the NBA. When star players are out, the other team tends to take it a little more lightly. I just think Toronto at home is a good spot here against Atlanta. If they can contain Young just a little bit here, the rest should take its place. Remember that the 2-point numbers that Steve brought up, remember that Chris Boucher and Scotty Barnes were out for a couple of games here. I think Boucher maybe 3 and Barnes 1 or 2, which hurts their interior defense. Maybe that's why the 2-point percentage numbers against them are up a little.
Okay, it's going to be an interesting one, too. That's going to be, I believe, 7:40, guys, tip-off there north of the border in Toronto as the Hawks come to town. And then now it is time to focus on a total. And I'll give you 3 guesses with our overtime segment as to where we're going. Let's see. We've got, what we have. Is Brooklyn on? Is Brooklyn playing? Yeah, Brooklyn. There we go. A team to play absolutely no defense. The Brooklyn Nets taking on the Indiana Pacers. And I don't know, call me crazy. We're seeing 235s, 236s, somewhere in that. The question has to be asked because this is one of those situations where they just played, and usually the second game tends to go a little bit under than the first game. So I think 241 just a couple of nights ago. It's lined about 235, 236. So what say you, Andy, with your Indiana Pacers? Any value to the over still, or could you only play under here?
Listen, when teams make adjustments, that's one thing, but teams have to have the personnel to make adjustments, and I'm not really sure if you're just going to convince the backcourt of Indiana or Brooklyn to really step up their defense. So, no, I do not see very many unders. The Pacers are really getting on my nerves with these 2 wins in a row. I don't know what they're doing. They're throwing their season away. Let's go over a couple props here. I think just who do they think they are?
Ridiculous.
Got to get Miles Turner. Got to get a ball boy under Miles Turner's feet again or something. So, here's a guy I could do without, Buddy Hield. I'm getting sick of him making 3-pointers, but let's take him over 3.5 made 3-pointers. He's done this 3 games in a row. Hit 7, 5, and 5. Last game was against Brooklyn where he hit 5 of them. Brooklyn is the worst 3-point shooting defense team against shooting guards. They give up 5.5 a game. I expect Hield to have quite a few open looks. I expect him to hit 4 or more tonight. Tyrese Halliburton and the assists has been a really popular prop, and for good reason, and Hield has been a big part of it, getting a lot of those assists and hitting those open shots. So, Hield, you got to give it to him. When he's on, he is really, really tough from 3-pointers. I mean, I don't know how I can't go over with Kyrie Irving. It's 28.5 points. It's a huge total, and yet how do you take the under? This guy's gone over in 4 out of 5 games. He went under against Milwaukee and had 27 points. I believe Milwaukee is right near the top in terms of points allowed per game. The Pacers cannot stop point guards. I mean, Kyrie lit him up. Beal lit him up. Levine lit him up. Harden lit him up. Even Cade Cunningham and Vassell for San Antonio lit him up. Beal in the opener torched them. They cannot stop these guys. Ben Simmons is questionable. He's got left knee soreness. He's on the injury report. He hasn't been listed as out. But we just have nobody to keep up with Kyrie Irving. And you know what's going to happen. It's going to be Durant shooting a lot. It's going to be Kyrie shooting a lot. But I would not be surprised to see Kyrie get on fire from threes and get the mid-range going. So I got to go Buddy Hield over his three-pointers and Kyrie Irving over his points.
No Ben Simmons. There goes those 6 points. Merrill, talk to me here. What do you think for this game tonight? Simmons, no Simmons? Really doesn't make much of a difference, does it? Defense, maybe? Is it just over or not with these two teams for you?
Well, I definitely would like the under more with Ben Simmons because he's not a great shooter, but he does play good defense. So I think that does somewhat affect the total. One thing I love about these back-to-backs is I talked about how the Raptors have played 4 straight back-to-backs games. From a handicapping perspective, you definitely can look at the first game, sometimes find some misleading box scores. Not sure that this game was necessarily a misleading box score. It landed 241, as you mentioned, Joe. The total is around 239.5. Now it's interesting to see that the total has actually been bumped down lower to 235 range. So maybe they're thinking Simmons is playing, and we'll see what happens. Andy brought up a good point, though. You got to want to play defense. Will Brooklyn show up tonight after a 1-5 straight up an ATS start? There are only 3 teams in the NBA this year that have not already covered at least 2 games against the spread. It's the Nets 1-5, the Lakers 1-5, and your Miami Heat, Joe Raineri, 1-6. 3 veteran, aging teams that know that it's early in the season. They're not exactly focused. Will Brooklyn wake up tonight or not? We'll find out. From a total perspective, though, I do think Indiana's due to regress a little bit after hitting all those threes. And the game wasn't that fast. Brooklyn only had 9 fast break points in the entire game the other night. So if that pace is somewhat moderate, like I think it will be, and if Brooklyn shows any kind of effort tonight after 4 straight losses, I think this game actually could stay under the total, and that's why it is 4 points lower than the other night.
Yeah, not a lot of defense. I don't know if Seth Curry is going or not here, Rob, if you've seen anything one way or the other, but really what the hell's the difference at this point? Is there any value left to go up and over? Do you think we're going to see any less shooting, any more defense at all in this one?
Well, when you go to handicap the game, in the first article you read in the morning, the headline is Nets look to tighten defense in rematch with Pacers. And the first line is 6 games in and the Brooklyn Nets are a defensive disaster. Those are the words of head coach Steve Nash. So there you go. I mean, they can't play defense, right? And they can't rebound. Especially, not only don't they guard the 3, but they don't rebound. And Miles Turner is now off the injured list and in this game, which means they probably rebound even less in this one. Seth Curry is, going to sit down under the labeling of injury management, which just means rest, I guess. So he won't play. And if Simmons doesn't play, to Andy's point about Kyrie Irving, you wonder, if he passes the ball enough. He averages 4.7 assists per game. Tonight's number is 6.5. So you're going to ask the guy to get 2 more assists with neither of the other 2 point guards on the floor in all likelihood. You don't see Curry. You don't see Simmons. It's there for the taking for him to get over 6.5 assists as well as maybe go over his points. Kyrie could have a big night. But the Pacers really did. That 3-man backcourt destroyed the Nets the other night. And I don't know what changes, Joe, to be honest with you. Benedict Mathurin was the hottest guy of all in a game where I think those 3 guys made like 13 combined 3-pointers. Indiana's never going to change the way they play. It's going to be up and down. And the Nets are more than happy to go with that. So I don't know. To say that there's no more value left in going over, I'm not sure, other than maybe these 2 teams the first time out, got a pretty good look at each other's half-court sets, and maybe they can defend them a little bit better. But again, the willingness has to be there to defend, whether you know what the other team's going to run or not. For me, I think I would probably play Nets team total over. It's sitting at about 121. The other night they get 116. I think they're going to have to get over 121 to beat Indiana. So I would probably lean that way. But any way you chose to play the total up and over, I couldn't really argue you off the way the Nets are going right now. And Indiana's, like I say, they're just not going to change. They have the horses to get up and down the floor, so why not use them?
Being interesting. Well, it'll be entertaining to say the least here, guys, with the Pacers taking on the Nets tonight. And now, of course, it is time to throw 60 seconds on the clock and see of all of these games, if there's a game these guys like a little bit more than the rest. We got a best bet time, and we're going to start with Andy Lang. 60 seconds. Andy, do as you wish. Just make sure you drop us a best bet somewhere in there, man. Who you going with?
Well, I didn't know we were going to talk about the Nets and the Pacers, and I already had a best bet ready to go, so I'm going to go with it. We got I'll go with Royce O'Neal over 9.5 points. Started off at 8.5 points, but it went up a point, which leads me to believe that Ben Simmons may not be playing. So Royce O'Neal, probably not on everyone's radar, but he went under this total against Toronto and Memphis. But he's gone over this total, Milwaukee, Dallas, and the Pacers, who we face this tonight, as we talked about. They're playing each other back-to-back. He had 11 points in the last game against Pacers. Pacers 26th worst in scoring defense. They allow 120.4 points a game, and they allow 44 points a game to forwards. He's averaging 38 minutes a game and 10 field goal attempts a game. He's making 2.3 three-pointers a game, so it's plenty of opportunities to get over this 9.5. If Simmons doesn't play, I think he's in really, really good shape. It's going to be Royce O'Neal over 9.5 points.
All right. Love it. Up and over there for Royce O'Neal. Great prop. Steve Merrill, you know the routine. 60 seconds on the clock here, man. I know you're going to throw in some sort of prop, maybe a mask, some candy. There'll eventually be a bet and a promo code. So 60 seconds, all yours, Merrill. Gab, what do you got for us?
Happy Halloween, everybody. So much to get to here in one moment. Boo! Boo! Boo 31 gets it done. And by the way, this did come with a stick. It was a nice hockey stick until my 6-shooter thought it was a real stick last year, and you see what happened. By the way, Mick Merrill, big Phillies fan. He's got a JT pumpkin. I'm going to tweet it out later. I'm going to take a photo to everybody. But seriously, 31 gets it done. 31% off any all-access package until midnight tonight. Check it out at WagerTalk.com. I've got two best bets also for $9 Monday, NBA and NFL Pro Football. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Big Phillies fans, by the way. Mick, my nephew, huge Philly fan. He's not going to like that I'm going against the Sixers here for the free play, but I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards. My Washington Wizards, +4. Embiid did not play a couple games ago. They routed Toronto. They're not going to play him tonight, I don't think. Even if he does, I don't think they have that step-up effort the second time. The Wizards are a live dog tonight, and they catch Philly sleeping after back-to-back wins over the Raptors and Bulls. Take a look at the Wizards, +4, 7 Eastern. This game will not get rained out tonight on Monday.
Woo! Like I said, props, all sorts of codes. There were all sorts of things going on in 60 seconds there, Vino. But we did get the Wizards. As usual, so come on, man, top them, Vino. Where are you going tonight for a best bet?
You can't top that Steve Merrill variety show. I mean, I feel like I'm watching Mike Douglas or somebody in the 70s with 17 different styles
Just lost
of
10
guests.
seconds.
I'm going to go off the board for what we from what we talked about, and I'm going to go to Milwaukee. Joe, I'm not a big fan of usually laying double digits, but in this case, Milwaukee -13. That's where I'm going to go. For the Pistons, it's a back-to-back situation with travel. It's their third game in the last 4 days. And the minutes spent last night to beat Golden State by the starting unit were between 31 and 39. Cade Cunningham actually went 39 minutes. They're 6-1 to the over are the Pistons right now. And a lot of that's attributed to their defense, which has allowed 49% or better from the field in 5 of their 7 games. On the other side, Milwaukee's the #1 defensive efficiency team in the league. I think Milwaukee scores early and often here, and Detroit can't keep up. Fatigue probably sets in the second half. So give me the Bucks -13.
All right. Getting it done. Pistons all giddy. They beat the champs anyway, so I'm with you there. Let's see what we got. Andy Lang for a best bet going. Royce O'Neal over 9.5 points tonight. We've got The Washington Wizards for Steve Merrill take the 4 points, while Rob Vino, he's laying the 13 here as the Bucks will be hosting the Detroit Pistons. And you guys heard it. Not only is it $9 Monday, which means best bets over at the site are $9. Yep, you got that just a few hours left here to take advantage of a great, and I mean great promotion, Boo31. That is the code to use at checkout. You get 31% off of any of these guys' packages, whether it's a full year, full season, 30-day, 70-day, 2-day, 6-hour, 31% off those packages right now using the code BOO31. It does end tonight at midnight, so take advantage here on this Halloween. Great promotion. Visit Rob Vino, visit Steve Merrill, and visit Andy Lang over at WagerTalk.com and hop on board, guys. No reason to kick off the month of November on a profitable note. That is for sure, as we say goodbye to October, but so much going on, including tonight, guys. Those $9 best bets, don't forget, they're available. It is the sports equinox tonight, is it not? Baseball, NHL, NBA, right? NFL. We got them all going here tonight, guys. And college hoops will be around before we know it. So head over to WagerTalk.com. Let's do this the right way here on this Halloween night, October 31st. All right, make sure that you hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, subscribe, and don't forget to download the brand new WagerTalk TV app on whatever platforms you may use, whether it's your tablets, your phone, your smart TV. Just go to your app store and look for WagerTalk TV and download it on demand, guys. All the shows, all our content on demand for you on the app. Make sure you download that. On behalf of Andy, Rob, and Steve Merrill, we appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with all your plays tonight. We'll catch you again tomorrow. Good luck, guys. We'll see you then.
Boo! Yes, it's the final week of October, which means we have the World Series, college football, the NFL, NHL action, the NBA, UFC, soccer, and let's not forget about that college basketball right around the corner. Since we're almost obliged to have a Halloween commercial, let's make it a scary good one. Until midnight on October 31st, no costume is required to get a 31% discount on one all-access package of your choice at both WagerTalk and SportsMemo using coupon code BOO31 at checkout. This coupon will save you over $12 on a one-day all-access that includes any 5% plays. And it'll also save you over $18 off a 3-day all-access. Or why not go big and save over $90 off a 30-day all-access? Or perhaps take over business for the next year by saving over $600 with a 12-month all-access package, coming out to just $3.77 per day for the next 365 days. Coupon code BOO31 expires at midnight on Halloween. But remember to use it wisely, as this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at SportsMemo. From my friend and I, happy Halloween.